Hello, how are you today? I decided to start this channel based around an attempt at finding something out that I didn't already know before. And when I say that, I mean anything and everything. Whether it be through self-exploration, something randomly interesting, or more importantly, what can be learned from other people. My point is, there is no one who can't learn just as much as they teach. Although this channel isn't about mental health specifically, I would like to be open about my own mental health in the hope that others can feel more confident about opening up about something that they may feel unable to say out loud, mental health or otherwise. Personally, I have both bipolar and ADHD, and those are just the ones I was diagnosed with. My mental health is just one of the many things that I'm not really open enough about that I probably should be. Getting back to the learning from other people thing, I really am just as interested in learning as talking. I say talking instead of teaching because I'm not a professional counselor and I cannot give professional advice. What I can tell you is something that I may have done that may or may not have worked for me personally, but always consult a professional concerning, anything really. However you choose to exist to an extent is up to you. I'm just tired of being told how I should live. I've often wondered why people claim that I must keep going. It shouldn't be my choice whether or not I choose to pursue the rest of my life. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you to give up and die. Personally, I've only considered and only once acted on suicide, not because I was sad, but because of a lack of interest. Most of the time, I just don't understand why life is interesting to some and not worth it to others. I'm just suggesting that sometimes it can help to have someone to just listen. No judgment, no thinking that they know better, just listening, no matter what you happen to be going through. As I said, I'm not a professional, but if you have any general questions or comments, you can leave them below, or I'll use my email address in the description for more privacy. Make sure to include the words "I consent" in your email if you don't mind them being read on camera. If you don't mind them being read on camera, but you prefer anonymity, then that's okay too. I always felt that no one was listening when I was growing up, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. People, particularly people of authority, love to tell. They all have opinions to throw at you. They say things, but how often are they really taking the time to ask? That's what I'm doing, and that's what I encourage you to do. Ask. All I've ever really wanted was to be heard. If you do too, then tell someone about it. In the end, you can choose whether you want to suffer in silence or try to change. Nobody can make you. Right now, I'd like to ask a few questions that I don't think get asked quite often enough. Have you ever had someone say to you something like, "You are a perfectly healthy person, why don't you do more with your life?" And it's statements and questions like that that's why I discovered a long time ago that 99.9% of all arguments are not worth it. I don't want to assume that a mind that would say something like that can't be changed, but this is where winning by losing comes in. Try this the next time that someone tries to start an argument. Instead of replying, say nothing. Online, it's easy. In person, it can be a little more awkward because if they don't realize what you're doing, you could just end up standing there staring at each other until you inevitably just walk away. Here's one that will stump me no matter how many times I get asked. What do you want to be or do with your life? It's a fair question for some people. For me, I could never come up with a solid answer because halfway through the question I would be staring at something shiny or wondering how many marbles or buttons it takes to fill the Grand Canyon. I never understood why people complain about the most insignificant of things. Like, for example, traffic is moving so slow. Or maybe sometimes, that's 10 cents more than it used to be. Oh, or my personal favorite,
Oh darn, they're out of my favorite Chardonnay.
There are people suffering in physical, mental, and emotional agony every day who somehow manage to actually want to keep going. I'm not saying don't complain, but maybe prioritize just a little bit. Alright, self exploration. I learned to overcome a crippling stage fright. Just put on a goofy homemade mask. Random was Neil deGrasse Tyson taught me that we are just not that interesting to aliens to ever have to worry about it. And the thing that I learned from someone else is my wife taught me don't sweat the small stuff, and as a bonus, something about me you didn't already know, I'm a left-handed person, and it sucks. Bye!